The 5 elders, the 5 asters of wisdom, the 5 ancient planets, Mercury, Venus Juro, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The council of the 5 most important celestial dragons, the highest authority of world government. We have been talking about the world government since Volume 1, but it is only in Volume 25 that we see them in their physical form, these 5 lords on whose shoulders the weight of the world rests, even if they do not. From that fateful chapter 233, it takes 675 chapters to discover that there is a mysterious hidden king of the world who rules them with a wand, the IMU. This leads us to the realization that they are nothing more than puppets in the hands of an absolute despot who would seem to have taken advantage of the operation of eternal youth, thanks to which he is now immune to the passage of time. However, even our 5 elders have something that does not add up from this point of view. For no matter how much time has passed, they have always remained the same. Look at Saturn 38 years ago, same as today. We then see them all together in shadow during the interview with Vegapunk or during the O'Hara incident, and their details are always the same. We see them again a few years later with Spandam discussing Pluton's plans, and they are the same as they are now. And of course, in these last 2 years, they have not changed one iota, not even their clothes, which is all very strange considering how much their peers like Sengoku and Garp, to mention 2, have changed, but I could mention Rayleigh, Garling, Big Mom, and so on. They are stationary in time, even in their appearance, which of course is worthy of attention. The 5 also showed that they have a kind of psychic connection with each other, which allows them to communicate telepathically, even from completely different parts of the world. And as if that were not enough, they showed a mysterious ability to regenerate completely from any injury they suffered, regardless of severity. Our Captain Luffy even pointed out that the 5 elders' ability to recover from any attack and injury makes them appear as if they were immortal. While Giant Brogy, during the escape from the attack of the 5 old, added that he had never heard of a race or ability that allowed such a thing. Finally, Bonnie noted that Saturn is immune the aging ability of her power, which is absolutely suspicious given what I told you just a little while ago. Is something missing? Obviously yes, the magic circle. The 5 elders can use the magic circles as portals to travel to other places. These devilish obscure circles have a pentacle in the center, with the number relating to the specific elder. 1 for Jupiter, 2 for Venus Juro, 3 for Mercury, 4 for Mars, and 5 for Saturn. They appear to be in descending order by age, but the true meaning of this numbering has never been understood. When they appear, their circles emit black lightning similar to ambitions, while fiery energy escapes from them. It is unclear whether this power is Saturn's prerogative since he was the one who summoned the others, but I can very speculate that it may be a skill they share like the others we have already listed. However, you also possess an exceptional power, allowing you to react to this video by liking it, promptly commenting, and sharing it with your esteemed circle of friends. If my work is commendable, kindly aid in channel's advancement. That said, we have 5 people who do not age, who are invulnerable, who can communicate with each other with their minds, and who can summon themselves from a magic circle. They literally look like genies. Not geniuses like Vegapunk, in fact their dementia is famous. I'm talking about the Jinn. The Jinn who populate Islamic folklore and mythology. These beings are considered creatures of God similar to humans with free will and the ability to choose between good and evil, and some of their main characteristics are precisely longevity. That although Jinn are not immortal, they live much longer than human beings, sometimes for thousands of years. They are invulnerable, in the sense that they are not invulnerable in an absolute way, but they can withstand many of the dangers that afflict humans because of their supernatural nature. They are telepathic. Jinn can communicate with each other with their minds, which is an ability that makes them particularly powerful and mysterious. Finally, they can be summoned through magical ceremonies or magic circles, and this aspect makes them featured in many tales of magic, books and spells. Now, I am not saying that the 5 elders are Jinn. On the contrary, I am extremely convinced that they are human beings like all celestial dragons. but considering that above them is the god among gods, the one whom the elders themselves called the Creator, there are interesting possibilities that Oda is playing with us, whereupon, considering that the five communicate with each other telepathically, but with Imu they have to speak either in person or through the Denden Mushi, this means that with the king of the world they have no such bond. They are connected with each other, but not with their lord, which I think is extremely correct. If I were the king of the world, I would want to be me and only me to have my privileges, do you understand? I would never be like Dr. Vegapunk, who physically created other selves who can then claim the same rights as him. Rather, I can bestow 5 chosen ones with something that makes them better than others, but not my equal. Also because, let's face it, if I were Imu, I would be extremely disgusted with the 5 elders. Look at them there, they are one uglier than the other. These mustaches, these lousy beards, gross. And that's when I came up with the idea, as it has occurred to others, that there might be a possibility involved that the chosen 5 among the celestial dragons have sold their souls to the devil. We saw Imu transform during Sabo's attack in the throne room, and apparently he looks like a demon made and finished. He eats flames, it has a pointed tail like devils, and then the idea that the devil commands the world is extremely cool. It has the devil fruit. The idea of selling your soul to the devil has its roots in medieval tales, with one of the most famous examples in Goethe's Faust, where Faust, a learned man dissatisfied with his life, enters into a pact with Mephistopheles, a demon representing the devil, by surrendering his soul in exchange for knowledge and earthly pleasures. However, in many stories, selling one's soul to the devil not only prevents one from growing old or gaining powers beyond imagination, but also entails a number of consequences, such as loss of humanity. The protagonists often become corrupt, unable to feel love or compassion. As rotten and corrupt as the celestial dragons are, Saturn's inhumanity to date is unparalleled. Between various insults, comparisons to insects or bugs, and the nastiness toward Kuma and Ginny, to give 2 examples out of all, it is truly the rottenest seen to date, after Imu you mean. Or these people have a tragic ending. The main character discovers that what he has achieved does not lead to the desired consequences. It would be interesting, for example, a final betrayal of Imu towards them, who once deemed useless for their shortcomings gets rid of them like garbage, just as they do with anyone under their governmental rank. Thus, in my opinion, based on what I read up to chapter 1122, the 5 elders are human beings from their respective celestial dragon families who have eaten a mythological devil's fruit of the Zoan type that makes them demonic beasts, but who also have additional powers thanks to their lord Imu, who personally chose them, perhaps because of their specific characteristics or merits that we do not know about, and who then bound them together, making them able to communicate telepathically and summon each other, as well as invulnerable to physical damage and the passage of time, at least in appearance. In fact, I would like Oda to choose to do something in the style of Oscar Wilde's The Portrait of Dorian Gray, where the protagonist wishes to remain eternally young and handsome, expressing the wish that his portrait would suffer the signs of time instead of him. Although there is no real pact with the devil here, the portrait serves as a powerful symbol of his corrupted essence, where it absorbs the traces of his age and vile actions, while he himself remains beautiful and youthful despite the passage of time. To die, spoiler alert, one must stab the painting, which he then does himself. I imagine that Imu, in the course of his centuries of life, when one of the elders failed him, would take away his additional powers, killing him instantly. Then he would replace him with a new elder, perhaps taken from most valiant gods' knights, and so the cycle would repeat itself. This would also make sense of the numbers. Saturn is 5 because he is the oldest, then Mars, Mercury, Venus Juro, and finally Jupiter, the youngest in appearance, and the last to enter the inner circle of the Gorosei. Now, what is left for us to look forward to? First, Imu's reaction to Egghead's incident. We saw the king of the world on the ground, gasping after the broadside of ambition that drove out the elders, in which the ruler recognized the spirit of the ancient rival, Joy Boy. How he heard it from such a distance is still a mystery, but the idea that ambition may have come to Mary Joa by exploiting the portal of magic circles is a tangible possibility, more so than the fact that he sensed it from the elders themselves, who, as we have already mentioned, seem not to be directly connected to Imu. In addition, there is the Devon issue, where we saw her touch Saint Saturn during their brief encounter on Egghead. This means that she can now replicate his appearance and who knows what other characteristics thanks to her mythological fruit of the nine-tailed kitsune, whose primary power is to take the form of anyone he touches, just like Mr. Two's devil's fruit, copy. Being mythological, however, he will also have a few extra tricks up his sleeve. Will she be able to replicate its powers? The ambition? Read its thoughts? Who knows, we'll see. The point is that if she looks like him, then Blackbeard has the perfect passkey to Castle Pangaea, in which stands the empty throne of the King of the World. So the hope is that Saturn will not be able to return from Egghead in time, giving Teach and his crew away to storm the world's capital. But that is another story, which I told you in this other video. Now tell me, what do you think of the 5 elders and their powers? This is a mere recap of events accompanied by numerous conjectures, which means that you could potentially object to certain aspects. Feel free to use your imagination and share your thoughts with me. As always, I invite you to leave a like. If you liked the video, share it on social media, sign up if you're not one of us yet, and activate the bell. Above all, please subscribe should you want to support my work with a Vega coffee per month. I thank you, be good and have fun. Bye bye.